Subscribe to Dr. Khalkar's Classroom channel and press the bell icon to get latest updates. Hello everyone, I hope you are doing great. In this lecture video, I will discuss about the unit number 1, that is wave optics. So in wave optics, first topics, let's discuss electromagnetic waves. So let's get started. The content of this lecture video is as follows. First of all, we will discuss about scientific notation, then order of magnitude, followed by we will discuss about electromagnetic spectrum and physical properties of electromagnetic waves. Finally, we will discuss about visible spectrum. An order of magnitude is an approximation of the logarithm of a value related to some contextually understood reference value, usually 10, interpreted as the base of the logarithm and the representative of values of magnitude 1. Logarithmic distributions are common in nature, and considering the order of magnitude of values sampled from such a distribution can be more intuitive. When the reference value is 10, the order of magnitude can be understood as the number of digits in the base 10 representation of the value. Similarly, if the reference value is 1 of certain powers of 2, the magnitude can be understood as the amount of computer memory needed to store the exact integer value. The differences in order of magnitude can be measured on a base 10 logarithmic scale in decades, that is factor of 10. Examples of numbers of different magnitudes can be found at order of magnitudes, that is the numbers. Generally, the order of magnitude of a number is the smallest power of 10 used to represent that number. To work out the order of magnitude of a number, let's say capital N, the number is first expressed in the following form. Capital N is equal to small a multiplied by 10 raised to b, where 1 upon under root of 10 is less than and equal to small a is less than and equal to under root of 10. Then small b represents the order of magnitude of the number. The order of magnitude can be any integer. The table in the next slides shows the order of magnitude of some numbers to understand the definition of order of magnitude. In this table, capital N is the number. Next is expression in capital N is equal to a into 10 raised to b. And next one is order of magnitude, that is small b. So number for 5.4, we can write this 5.4 in terms of this above expression, that is 5.4 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 0. So order of magnitude here is 0. Next is 0.54. 0.54 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to minus 1. So order of magnitude is minus 1. Next number is 0.054 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to minus 2. So minus 2 is order of magnitude. Next number is 54 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 1. So 1 is order of magnitude. Next number is 540 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 2. So 2 is the order of magnitude. So in this way, we can express the order of magnitude as shown in this, the value of small b. Now let's see the order of magnitude in terms of power of 10 and its respective prefix symbol. Let's say for 1, we can write power of the 10 raised to 0. So order of magnitude is 0. For 0.1, power of the 10 is 10 raised to minus 1, and minus 1 is the order of magnitude, which is called as a deci. Next one is 0.01, which is called as centi. Power of 10 is 10 raised to minus 2, and order of magnitude is minus 2. For milli, it's 10 raised to minus 3, order of magnitude is minus 3. For micro, it's 10 raised to minus 6, order of magnitude is minus 6. For nano, 10 raised to minus 9, order of magnitude is minus 9. For the pico, it's a 10 raised to minus 12, and minus 12 is the order of magnitude. For femto, it's 10 raised to minus 15, and order of magnitude is minus 15. Next one is power of the 10 is 10 raised to minus 18, which is called as the atto, and order of magnitude is minus 18. Next is 10 raised to minus 21, which is called as zepto, and order of magnitude is minus 21. Next is power of the 10 is 10 raised to minus 24, which is called as yocto, and order of magnitude is 10 raised to minus 24. So this is the table which shows the order of magnitude for the lower value, and its prefix, the symbols are shown in this table. In the similar way, for the higher scale, the order of magnitude is shown in this table. For 10 raised to 24, the order of magnitude is 24, which is called as a iota, capital Y. Next one is 10 raised to 21, order of magnitude is 21, which is called as a zeta, capital Z. Next one is 10 raised to 18, order of magnitude is 18, which is called as exa, capital E is the representation for this. Next one, 10 raised to 15, order of magnitude is 15, and which is called as a beta, capital P. Next one is power of 10 is 10 raised to 12, order of magnitude is 12, and which is called as a tera, capital T. Next one is power of 10 is 10 raised to 9, order of magnitude is 9, and which is called as a giga, represented as capital G. Next one is power of 10 is 10 raised to 6, order of magnitude is 6, which is called as a mega, represented as capital M. Next one is power of 10 is 10 raised to 3, that is order of magnitude is 3, which is represented as kilo. It's a small k. Power of 10 10 raised to 2, which is order of magnitude is 2, which is called as a hecto. And last one is power of 10 10 raised to 1, that is nothing but the decimal is 10, order of magnitude is 1, and the prefix, corresponding prefix for it is deca, which is written as small d, small a, da. So this is all about the order of magnitude for the higher scale and for the lower scales. Now let's say scientific notation. Scientific notation is a way of expressing real numbers that are too large or too small to be conveniently written in decimal form. It may be referred to as scientific form or standard index form or standard form in the UK. This base 10 notation is commonly used by scientists, mathematicians, and engineers, in part because it can simplify certain arithmetic operations. On scientific calculators, it is usually known as SCI display mode. In scientific notation, all numbers are written in the form of A into 10 raised to B, or we can say A times 10 raised to the power of B, where the exponent B is an integer and the coefficient A is an real number. The integer B is called as the order of magnitude and the real number A is called as the significand. Now let's see the positive exponent. Here is the one example. 54 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 1. We can write this in this form also. Similarly, 540 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 2. 5400 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 3. 54,000 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 4. And 5,40,000 we can write 5.4 into 10 raised to 5. So this is about the positive exponent. Whereas the same example we can write in negative exponent as shown here. 5.4 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 0. 0.54 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to minus 1. 0.054 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to minus 2. 0.054 is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to minus 3. Whereas finally 0.00054 equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to minus 4. So this is all about the scientific notation and the positive exponents and the negative exponents. Now let's see the electromagnetic waves, its definition. Electromagnetic waves or EM waves are the waves that are created as a result of vibrations between an electric field and magnetic field. In other words, electromagnetic waves are composed of oscillating magnetic and electric fields. Electromagnetic waves can be imagined as a self-propagating transverse oscillating wave of electric and magnetic fields. This three-dimensional animation shows a plane linearly polarized wave propagating from left to right. The electric and magnetic fields in such a way are in phase and each other, reaching minima and maxima together. Electromagnetic waves are formed when an electric field comes in contact with magnetic field. They are hence known as electromagnetic waves. The electric field and magnetic field of electromagnetic waves are perpendicular at right angles to each other. They are also perpendicular to the direction of the electromagnetic waves. The electromagnetic waves travel with a constant velocity of 2.99 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second in vacuum. They are reflected neither by electric field or by the magnetic field. However, they are capable of showing interference or diffraction. Electromagnetic waves can travel through anything, be it air, a solid material, or vacuum. It does not need a medium to propagate or travel from one place to the another. Mechanical waves like sound waves or water waves, on the other hand, need a medium to travel. Electromagnetic waves are transverse waves. This means that they are measured by their amplitude, that is the height, and the wavelength, that is the distance between the highest or lowest point of the consecutive waves. The highest point of the wave is known as a crest, whereas the lowest point of the wave is known as trough. Electromagnetic waves can be split into a range of frequencies. This is known as electromagnetic spectrum. Electromagnetic radiation, that is EM radiation or EMR, refers to the waves or their quanta or the photons of electromagnetic field propagating or the radiating through space carrying electromagnetic radiant energy. It includes radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-rays, and cosmic rays. So these are the 7 segments of electromagnetic waves. The electromagnetic waveform is shown in this diagram. It shows a linearly polarized sinusoidal electromagnetic wave propagating in the direction plus z direction through a homogeneous isotropic dissipation-less medium such as a vacuum. The electric field shown here in blue arrows oscillates in the positive and negative x direction, and the orthogonal magnetic field shown here in red arrows oscillates in the phase with electric field but in the positive negative y direction. So electric field and magnetic field, these two fields are mutually perpendicular to each other, as well as they are perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of these electromagnetic waves. Now let's see the electromagnetic spectrum, which is shown here in this figure. You can see the frequency of electromagnetic waves. If it is increasing, the wavelength is decreasing. So according to the segments of electromagnetic waves, here you can see the gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, visible spectrum, infrared, microwaves, radio waves, that is FM and AM, and long radio waves is shown here. The visible spectrum is also shown here with the wavelength around 380 nanometer to 750 nanometer, and which includes the colors starting from violet, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. So this is the electromagnetic spectrum. The comparison of wavelength and frequency of electromagnetic waves is shown in this diagram. As you can see, there are several examples with its wavelength and the size. The radiation type of the wavelength in meter, if it is a gamma ray, its wavelength is around 10 raised to minus 12, and it is comparable to the atomic nuclei. Next one is X-rays, whose wavelength is around 10 raised to minus 10 of meter, and it is comparable to the size of an atom. Ultraviolet 10 raised to minus 8 and comparable with the molecule, size of the molecule. Next one is visible light. It's 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 6 of meter, and which is comparable with the protozoans. Next one is infrared. Its size is around 10 raised to minus 5 of meter. So needle point is comparable with it. Next one is microwaves, whose wavelength is 10 raised to minus 2. So its size is around, let's say, butterfly. And the radio waves, its size is 10 raised to 3 meter wavelength and comparable with some buildings. So here is some comparison of the radiation of the wavelength and its size. Similarly, the frequency and the temperature is also shown here in this diagram. Now let's see the properties of electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves are typically described by any of the three physical properties. These properties are the frequency, wavelength, or photon energy. Wavelength is inversely proportional to the wave frequency. Therefore, the photon energy is directly proportional to the wave frequency. So gamma ray photons have the highest energy, while the radio waves photons have very low energy. These relations are illustrated by the following equation. F is equal to C upon lambda, or we can write F is equal to capital E upon H, or E is equal to Hc upon lambda, where C is nothing but the speed of the light, that is 2.99 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, where H is a Planck's constant whose value is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second, which is equal to 4.13 into 10 raised to minus 15 electron volt. So this is the Planck's constants. So these three properties are very important to understand the electromagnetic waves. As we are studying the wave optics, light, that is the visible spectrum, is very important to understand. The visible spectrum is the portion of the electromagnetic spectrum that is visible to the human eye. Electromagnetic radiation in this range of wavelength is called visible light or simply light. A typical human eye will respond to wavelengths from about 380 to 740 nanometer of wavelength of electromagnetic spectrum. In terms of frequency, this corresponds to a band in the vicinity of 430 to 770 terahertz. Colors that can be produced by visible light of a narrow band of wavelengths, that is the monochromatic light, are called pure spectral colors. The various colors rangings indicated in the illustration are an approximation, that is the spectrum is continuous with no clear boundaries between one color and the next one. So the visible spectrum shown here shows starting from the ultraviolet to the infrared color spectrum. The visible spectrum in more detail is shown here in this diagram. For the violet color, the wavelength is around 380 nanometer to 450 nanometer, whereas the frequency 680 to 790 terahertz and its photon energy is around 2.95 to 3.1 electron volt. For the blue color, the wavelength is around 450 to 485 nanometer, frequency 620 to 680 terahertz, and photon energy 2.64 to 2.75 electron volt. For next cyan color, 485 to 500 nanometer is the wavelength, whereas the frequency 600 to 620 terahertz, whereas the photon energy 2.48 to 2.52 electron volt is shown here. For the green color, the wavelength is around 500 to 565 nanometer, frequency is 530 to 600 terahertz, whereas the photon energy is 2.25 to 2.34 electron volt. For the yellow color, the wavelength is around 565 to 590 nanometer, whereas the frequency 510 to 530 terahertz and the photon energy 2.10 to 2.17 electron volt. For the orange color, The wavelength is around 590 to 625 nanometer. The frequency is 480 to 510 terahertz, whereas the photon energy 2 to 2.10 electron volt. And then finally, for the red color, the wavelength is around 625 to 740 nanometer. Frequency is around 405 to 480 terahertz, whereas the photon energy 1.65 to 2 electron volt. The wavelength, frequency and photon energy, all these three parameters you can calculate with the help of these numbers by using the above mentioned the formulas. These formulas we have already discussed in the previous slides. Human eye will respond to wavelengths from about 380 to 740 nanometer. The structure of human eye is shown in this diagram. When the light energy enters the eye through the cornea, through the pupil, and then through the lens is as shown in this diagram. When the photon of light falling on the light sensitive cells of the retina, which are called as a photoreceptor cones and the rods, are converted into electrical signals that are transmitted to the brain by the optic nerve and interpreted as the sight of vision. So this is the completely biological part. If you want to understand how human can see the light or how the vision appears, we need to understand the biological concept of the vision. Anyway, that is the another part. So let's concentrate on only our visible spectrum, that is the electromagnetic waves starting from the wavelength 380 to 740 nanometer is our visible spectrum. So this is very important part to understand how we can see the light. So this is all about the electromagnetic waves and its properties. Now let's see some numerical based on this topic. So let's see problem number 1. What is the frequency of violet light with 400 nanometer? The solution for this problem is as follows. We have formula F is equal to C upon lambda, where C is the speed of the light, whose value is 2.9979248 times 10 raised to 8 meter per second. This is very accurate value. Where lambda is given, that is 400 nanometer, that is 400 into 10 raised to minus 9 of meter. So by simply putting the values of all these in this formula, we can have F is equal to 2.99 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second divided by 400 into 10 raised to minus 9 of meter. So finally the frequency 7.50 into 10 raised to 14 per second. So frequency is nothing but 1 upon t, that is time, so inverse of that. So F is equal to 7.5 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. So unit of frequency is hertz. So this is the solution of this problem. Now let's see problem number 2. What is the energy of violet light with frequency of 4.48 into 10 raised to 14 hertz? The solution for this problem is as follows. We have formula E is equal to h nu. So Planck's constant is h, that is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second, and nu is 4.48 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. So nu is another one notation by which we can represent the frequency. So frequency is represented by f as well as the nu. So therefore we have formula E is equal to h nu. Simply by putting the above values, we can write 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second into 4.48 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. So energy 2.97 into 10 raised to minus 19 joules. But in terms of electron volt, if we want to convert this energy, we can simply divide it with the Coulomb value, that is 1.602 into 10 raised to minus 19 Coulomb. So energy is equal to 2.97 into 10 raised to minus 19 of joule divided by 6.602 into 10 raised to minus 19 Coulomb. So finally we get energy E is equal to 1.85 electron volt. So this is the solution of problem number 2. So very similar kind of numericals you can solve. You can do practice at your home. You simply go through some books in which there are so many solved and unsolved numericals are given. So do the practice for the same. This is all about electromagnetic waves. In next lecture video, I will discuss about interference phenomena, which is included in wave optics. Wave optics is the branch of optics that studies interference, diffraction, and polarization. So please don't miss my next lecture video. Thank you. Below this video, in the description, the link of important information related to this video is given. Please go through it. Please like and share this video and subscribe to Dr. Khalkar's Classroom channel to get the notifications about my upcoming videos. Thank you.